What's happening, brothers and sisters? I'm Alex Robles, and this is the In My Grow Show, a podcast dedicated to taking the mystery out of using and growing cannabis. How's it going, everybody? I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. I hope everything's working out great. This is episode number 3, and it's actually Christmas Eve. Yeah, can you believe it? So I want to thank everyone who listened to episode number 2 all the way through, because right around the midway, right around the halfway point, the sound just takes a nosedive. And I don't know why. This is, I'm still new at this. I'm still new at podcasting. I'm still learning a whole lot. And I'm not real sure what went wrong there with the audio, but I'm going to find out and fix that. So, yeah, like I said, I'm still learning. This is a new thing to me, learning how to record everything, and it's a little bit of a learning curve, man. It's frustrating but fun, though. The thing I ask my daughter usually when something doesn't turn out the way she expected is I ask her, what did you learn? Well, what did I learn? Well, I learned that if I'm going to use a tool on Audacity, which is the program I use to edit all the show together, that I should really read the whole manual through on that section instead of just grabbing the first bit that I need and saying, oh yeah, I'll just do that. That just isn't a good practice. What'd you learn? Read it all the way through. Follow through is my lesson. That's what I preach. Follow through. Okay. And I also want to thank DJ Monster Drop. I want to give a big thank you to him, because without his help, this show doesn't happen. Mostly because Monster Drop has been lending me some recording equipment and, his expert ear here and there. But once again, Monster Drop, thank you very much, brother. I appreciate it. Yeah, go get on the internet and go find him. DJ Monster Drop. I believe he's on SoundCloud. That's Monster with just an R, not an ER. It's Monster Drop. Okay, enough of that guy. So I'm going to be giving a report from the state of California for the cannabis front line, because California is about to allow recreational cannabis sales come January 1st, 2018. At least that's the plan. Is everybody ready? Are all the big cities ready? San Francisco, LA, San Diego? I don't know. Doesn't look like it. I've been reading some news stories. There's this one news story coming out of LA, and they're talking about how Los Angeles. Now, so the state's supposed to be ready to start issuing licenses for recreational cannabis sales on January 1st. But Los Angeles, one of the bigger markets, they're not even going to start taking applications till January 3rd. So are people in LA really going to be able to get that recreational cannabis? Really going to be able to throw their hands up and woohoo, celebrate? I don't know, we'll see. Doesn't look like it though. It looks like if legal weed isn't ready, then January 1st, a lot of black market cannabis sellers are going to make a whole bunch of money. The city, the county, they're about to lose out on a big chunk of money because of that. So we'll see. We'll see what that looks like. It's coming up soon. It's, 7-10 days away. Yeah, it'll be interesting. I'm lucky here locally here in Ojai, in the county of Ventura, which is where I live. Because the California state law breaks down like this. The state said, yes, it's legal for you to have recreational cannabis. It's legal for you to have a cannabis business, but you have to get the okay from the local municipality, which means from your local city or town, your city council. They leave it up to the local cities, and the cities can either say, yes, we're going to allow it, or no, we're not. Okay. A lot of towns in my county have decided to say no, they're not going to allow it. Luckily, I live in a cool town of Ojai where they said, yeah, we're going to allow medical cannabis dispensaries. Like a physical brick and mortar, you can go there, it's a storefront. Because the other towns, most of them only allow delivery. What happens is, how that works is, you go to the dispensary's website, you look at their menu. Typically, you either call them. First you have to register with them as a medical patient. This is for medical dispensaries. Then you have to call them, register them with them as a medical patient, as someone they they're a caregiver for, they provide medicine for. And, typically, like I said, you would go to their website, you would look at their menu, you would see what you wanted, you call them up, or you set up a delivery through your computer. Depending on the service, 20 minutes to 2 hours later, they show up at your house, they deliver you your medication, your cannabis, and that's it. You give them the money and away they go. So that's how it happens in most of the towns in the county. Now, one town, like I said, I live in Ojai, they allow an actual dispensary storefront, which is really cool. I'm really lucky. It's called Sespe Creek Collective. It's right off of Bryant Street. Go over there and check them out. Make sure you have your medical license and your actual letter, okay? Some places you need them both. Really cool people over there. They don't pay me to say this. I like the vibe over there. I don't get a lot of flour over there, but I do get my concentrates from there, meaning my vape cartridges. Every now and then a candy bar, maybe a nice medicated cookie. But yeah, if you're in town, or if you're even, if you live in the county and you want to actually go to a dispensary and you're a medical patient, drive up to Ojai. All right, and the other town is Port Hueneme, which I think is cool. From what I've understood, they've allowed recreational dispensary storefronts. So we'll see what happens down there. Yeah, so that's what's happening up here in Ojai. So that's how it works here in California. This episode may be a little scattered because it's Christmas Eve. I've got a little lineup of vape cartridges. These are the Absolute Extracts. They're Emerald Cup line. They're pretty good, man. They're pretty clean. If you remember on the first episode, I had gotten a cartridge that was way harsh. I don't know if they were using some kind of, I think it's called PPG, like a propylene glycol. Anyways, it was really harsh on my throat, made me cough. These Absolute Extracts, they're pretty sweet. The concentration's a little less than what I'm used to. It's at about 60%. But what does that mean, really? Is my system real saturated? Could be. It's possible. So like I said, this episode may be a little scattered. I figured I'll turn the microphone on, hang out, and just talk about some stuff before California goes legal. Another thing I've been thinking about is with California, not just California, but other states going legal, whether it's medical or recreational. Something we need to start talking about and thinking about is open consumption. Now, I'm not talking about, when I say open consumption, I'm not talking about treating it any different than the way we treat alcohol. Okay, if you're not allowed to drink in public at the park with an open beer, which is good, because I don't want to see people getting all loaded and wasted at the park when I'm with my family. That's not what I'm talking about. You shouldn't be allowed to stand on a street corner and roll a joint. I don't want to see that. I don't expect any more special treatment than alcohol, any more different treatment than alcohol as far as like open consumption. I don't want to see people getting all drunk at the park, just like I don't want to see people getting all high at the park either when I'm with my kids. I don't want to see adults doing that. It's not what I'm advocating. But what I do think we need to start thinking about is places where adults can get together with each other and celebrate with cannabis. I would love to have a place to where I could call up some friends and say, hey, meet me in such and such place, and we'll go over there, we'll smoke a couple of joints, we'll have some awesome, some drinks, but non-alcoholic, maybe like a mango milkshake. Oh, that sounds delicious. A mango milkshake with a nice good side of cannabis, big old joint and a mango milkshake. Anyways, so that's something we need to start thinking about, because also we have to start thinking about, let's take for instance tourists. Okay, if when tourists come into Ojai and they're a medical patient, they're able to go to the local dispensary and get their medicine, but there's no place really for them to go and consume. There's no place really for them to go use, to go relax, because they either have to get their medicine, go back to their hotel room, smoke a joint, take a dab, whatever it is, but then there's that whole burden of now you're going to stink up your hotel room. What's the other choice? Okay, you smoke in your car. Now it's a public nuisance thing. I don't want to see people getting high in their car as I'm walking by, just like I don't want to see people drinking beer in their car as I'm walking by. It's not safe, doesn't look good. So we need to start the conversation. I understand change comes slowly. We're dealing with a lot of old ideas. We're dealing with a lot of old myths about cannabis. And we need to slowly change their minds. We just can't push, these kinds of drastic changes on people, because then they start to push back. Because a lot of older people, and even, because a lot of people really, they're afraid of it because they don't understand cannabis. What was that thing Yoda said? Fear leads to hate, hate leads to anger, anger leads to the dark side. It's kind of that same thing. It's along that same vein. All right, let's see. Let's use our imagination a little bit. Let's say we do get a place like a bar. All right, you can't serve alcohol. Do you just do vape and dabs inside and you smoke flower outside? Because you still have the Clean Air Work Act, something like that. You still can't have, just for the same reason you can't smoke in a bar here in California. You still have people who work there who you have to be considerate of. You have to be considerate of people who just don't like the smell of smoke. Okay, maybe that bar would, the whole ceiling would be a big HEPA filter that recycles and refreshes the air, every 15 seconds. I don't know. But there's a solution out there. There's a solution out there. So let's just start thinking about along those lines. I'm not saying it's going to happen January 1st. I know this. I'm not silly with happiness about. I understand change comes slowly. I understand, we can't just push it onto people. We have to be good neighbors about it. We have to be considerate about other people's feelings. I get that. But let's start thinking about these things. Okay, because again, Ojai's a big tourist town. It seems like, because man, there are a lot of tourists in this town every weekend. It seems like tourism's a big deal. Because Jesus Christ, they're everywhere. I mean, good on them. I appreciate you coming. I can't complain that you're here. It's a lovely town. I enjoy it. That's why I live here. But sometimes, I just want to go to the farmer's market and get out of there quickly. But that's another show. That's a completely different episode. No, I'm kidding you guys. Come on to Ojai. It's a lovely town. I love you guys. All tourists. Come on. But what I'm saying is this. Okay, city council, who's ever in charge over there, let's start thinking about it. Okay, because we want tourists to come. We want tourists to come to all of our towns. And we want them, if they're going to come and be cannabis tourists, that's great. But let's have some places for them to come together. What do you think? Send me an email. inmygrow@gmail.com, or find me on Instagram at inmygrow. But let's talk about this, and hopefully one day soon we can talk about it at a cannabar. Ooh, I like that, a cannabar. All right. Another thing I want to talk about with California about to allow recreational cannabis is all of you people who are really down on cannabis, who have a really negative idea about cannabis. A lot of the people that I talk to about it, I'm real curious, because a lot of those people who might talk about cannabis with, who are against it, they're not against the feeling of euphoria. I mean, they drink alcohol. They're not against the feeling of how alcohol makes them feel, of how it changes their way of, whatever. It loosens them up. It's a social lubricant. So if you're not against the feeling of euphoria, why are you against cannabis? Is it because it's not your type of euphoria? And there's always that argument. Oh, well, people who are high, they act stupid, and they act silly. And it's like, okay, yes, we do. But I mean, as opposed to people who've had too much alcohol, are those people acting like they're mental giants? I'm just trying to understand why you don't like, or why they don't like, or maybe it is you who are listening. If you don't like cannabis, but you enjoy alcohol, explain it to me. Explain why. Because I don't get it. It seems like a very hypocritical thing. Now, if you hate all kinds of euphoria that doesn't come from spirituality, okay, I get that too. Anyways, so, like I said, let me know. Let's have a conversation. All right. I just want to understand. I'm not satisfied with wondering why. I need to understand why. Wondering doesn't help me understand. It just makes me imagine why. And I can imagine all kinds of things. So help me out. Get a hold of me. Email me. Find me on Instagram. Let me know your reasons. Or let me know your thoughts and ideas about it. All right, let's see. What else do I have? I took some notes here. All right, where are we at? Excuse me. Yeah, January 1st, California allows recreational cannabis. Yeah, I wonder what that's going to be like. Let's see. All right, so here in 2018 coming up, I got a couple of things that I want to talk about. So what I'm going to do coming up in the next few episodes is I'm going to get a registered nurse in here to talk about how cannabis affects certain medications that we may be taking, whether it's blood pressure medicine or diabetic medicine. Those are the two ones I've got so far. If you've got another particular medicine you want to ask a nurse about, send me an email at inmygrow@gmail.com or find me on Instagram at inmygrow. If you've got another, like I said, if you've got a question about another medication that you want to know about how, if cannabis reacts with it or how it could react with it, send me that question and we'll get a list together and we'll ask the nurse. I've got a few leads on some nurses that are willing to come on the show. So, yeah, send in those questions. Another thing I'm going to do is I'm also going to get a lawyer in here that specializes in cannabis DUIs. Yeah, folks. It's not like alcohol. A cannabis DUI, it's a little different. There are a couple little differences in how to identify them. Yeah, it's just really interesting. The more I learn about it, I'm going to get a lawyer in here to really talk about that. And another thing we're going to do this coming year in 2018 is, since California's going legal, recreational, I should say, since they're going recreational, I want to find out what is the easiest and cheapest license we can get. And then go through the process, hopefully. Because some of those licenses, from what I understand, are pretty expensive just to apply for. So we're going to really take a look at that process and really get into what it takes to get into the industry once the laws are written, and just see what that looks like so we have a better understanding of what it takes. So if you think, oh, California just went recreational, I'm going to sell all my stuff, move to California and become a cannabis baron. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know what it takes. We're going to find out though. I'm going to talk to another lawyer who specializes in just licensing. So he's going to be really interesting to talk to. All right, folks. Well, like I said, if you've got any questions, if you've got any comments, get them to me through the email. The easiest is email, because I check that daily. I don't do a lot of Facebook. I'm not a real Facebook fan, so if you find me on Facebook, if you find In My Grow on Facebook, and you put a question up or something, don't be upset if it takes me around a week to get to it, because I don't check Facebook that often. You can find me on Instagram at InMyGrow. All right, now, so if you feel like this show has brought you some value, go to the website inmygrow.com. There's a link up on the top of the right-hand page. On the top right-hand page of the website is a link that says support the show. If the show has brought you some value, go to Patreon and help support the show financially if you can. I use that money to pay for hosting the website, pay for hosting the podcast. That account helps me pay for recording equipment. There's some recording equipment I have to replace that was lost in the Thomas fire. So if you can, throw a couple bucks my way. If you can't, don't worry about it. Don't sweat it. Here's what you can do if you can't help financially. Just keep listening to the show and tell 3 friends about it. That's how you can help, because I love doing this show. I mean, it's a little frustrating sometimes because I'm still learning, but so I'm going to just keep on doing it. So if you can't help financially, don't worry about it. The show's not going to go away because of that. Now, if you have a product you want me to review, or if you're a cannabis-related company that wants to sponsor the show, you can email me at inmygrow@gmail.com. Get a hold of me again on Instagram at inmygrow. And we'll talk and we'll work something out. Well, ladies and gentlemen, mis amigos. Ooh, mis amigos is Spanish for my friends. Okay, mis amigos, I'm going to get out of here. It's Christmas Eve. I'm going to wrap some presents. Actually, I'm going to have some canna butter, wrap some presents, and enjoy my time. Everybody be safe. Have fun. We'll talk again after the new year. We'll see what California looks like. At least we'll see what California cannabis looks like after the new year. And remember to grow, learn, and teach.
to